gives me strength from day to day to day to day to day. Woo! It will never lose its power.
Put your hands together and give him glory. Give him glory.
Yeah.
Glory.
Yeah. Thank God for the blood. Thank you for the blood of Jesus. Thank you for the blood of Jesus. The blood of Jesus covers. The blood of Jesus heals. The blood of Jesus restores. The blood of Jesus revives. The blood of Jesus saves. The blood, the blood, the blood. The blood, the blood, the blood. Thank you. Oh, the blood that gives me strength.
From day
to day. Everybody sing it.
It will never.
It will never lose its power. Praise him. Come on and praise him. Come on and praise him.
I love it. I love it.
Come on and praise him.
You all, if you only knew how many times the folk that gave birth to us pleaded the blood over us. Give me 5 in the house today. Give me 5 in the house today. We got here because the blood of Jesus. Somebody shout the blood, the blood, the blood. Hallelujah. That's it. Come on, 2 Timothy. Thank you, Derek. 2 Timothy, the 3rd verse. 1st chapter, the 3rd verse. 2 Timothy, the 1st chapter, starting at verse number 3. Let me say this from the outset. It's good to be here. You listen, you all, let me tell you something. You ought to be glad that every day you wake up, that God opens your eyes. Come on, somebody. He lets you have the activity of your limbs. You're in your right mind. Come on, help me, somebody. You ought to be glad about it. Be excited that you are alive. Somebody say, I'm excited. Don't take for granted any day that God gives you. Every day is sweeter. They don't know nothing about that, Darlene, than the day before. Somebody give them praise right there. I was raised on that. Yee. And so we're grateful that God let us be here in this space. 2 Timothy, let me do this real quickly, and then we're going to move on. We give God praise for life on Friday. You all know Brother Calvin Whitaker, great member of our church. He takes care of a wonderful sister, lady, amen, Sister Gladys. And on Friday, she turned 102. She is here. She is here. Y'all need to really give God praise. She's a... Listen. Y'all know she got a kinfolk with her. Amen. From where? Tell me where you're from. Sacramento, California. Give God praise for them. Amen. From where? Bartlesville. Amen. Give God praise for that. Amen. Dale City. Amen. Good to have you here. You down the street. Amen. 102. Hold on, Derek. Let me tell y'all something. You better not complain. I better not see no sad faces. This is a blessing. And so they had a birthday party for her. Last night, Sister Chess had her 65th birthday party. Give God praise for her. I said at her 65th, every day that God gives you is a gift from God, y'all. And when we came in there on Friday, we went to the house, and I'm just grateful to God that God gave her 102 years. Can I just be me? You ought not be complaining at 45. 35, 25. God gave her 102 years, and we are glad about it. Somebody give God praise today. Amen. She as cute as you want to be. Somebody say amen. Amen. 2 Timothy, the first chapter. Let me give you all this brief word that I think will empower you, strengthen you, uplift you in your walk with God throughout the week. 2 Timothy, the first chapter, starting at the 3rd verse. When you found a shot, I got it. It says, I thank God whom I serve with a pure conscience, as my forefathers did, as without ceasing. I remember you in my prayers night and day, greatly desiring to see you, being mindful of your tears, that I may be filled with joy. When I call to remembrance the genuine faith that is in you, which dwelt first in your grandmama Lois and your mother Eunice, I am persuaded the same faith that your mama and your grandmama had, y'all ain't gonna help me preach it in here, you also have. Therefore, Timothy, I remind you, stir up the gift that's in you through the laying on of my hands. For God has not given you, somebody help me in here, a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Few minutes, I want to talk from the subject, the other side of fear. The other side of fear. People of God say, man. Famed actor Denzel Washington, in a commencement speech he gave this past spring, spoke to students on the necessity of never being afraid to fail. He spoke about how 30 years ago he went to audition for a play at Court Theater in New York City. It was his first audition, so he was excited about the opportunity. Denzel said he went in the audition, and he felt good about it. He felt he did real good, but before he got back to his apartment, he was informed that he did not get the part. He said it was at that moment that he had to come to a conclusion as to whether he would allow fear of failure keep him from his passion, or would he go back and hone his skills and his gift and try again. Somebody say try again. He told the students at the commencement that the rejection at that time was rough for him. He told the students that the rejection at that time was a defining moment for him. For he could have allowed the fear of rejection, the fear of not feeling good enough, the fear of inadequacy, keep him from realizing what God had for him. He could have allowed fear to grip him so tight that it kept him from realizing his true potential. Everybody say potential. Denzel said he had to make a decision at that moment that he would either allow fear to dictate his life or he would let faith be his guide to where he wanted to go. And because he let faith guide him to where he wanted to go, 30 years later, in the same theater, he starred in a play called Fences that was sold out every night. I use this narrative from Denzel Washington to highlight one important fact, and that is none of us, and I said none of us, and I mean none of us, can allow fear to dictate our lives. Somebody say yes. Yes, fear is powerful. Say yes, y'all. It is one of the greatest tools that the enemy uses that can cause us to miss living a fulfilled life. Fear's aim is to either cause you to go in the opposite direction of your destiny, or it will cause you to be inactive. Somebody say yes. Fear paralyzes you. Yes, fear misdirects you. Fear produces doubt. Fear limits you. Fear restrains you. The fact is that many people who deeply believe in God can easily miss what God has for your life if you continue to live in fear. Somebody say yes. Come on, do it again. Say yes. One writer says it like this: fear often masquerades as a cloak of protection, keeping us from doing things that may cause us harm. Fear lies and deceives us into convincing us to not do some things, not believe some things, not trust some things under the guise that it may harm us. Somebody say yes. Fear specializes, y'all come here, fear specializes in the art of deception, keeping many of us from truly trusting that God had his hand on his life. Can I ask you a question? What opportunities have passed us by because of fear? What vision has faded from your life because of fear? What gifts have you never acted upon because you were afraid? Fear is a master at trying to make us believe that we are by ourselves and God has forgotten about us. I watched a young child get in the swimming pool some time ago for the first time. The young baby was getting in the pool for the first time. He came to the edge of the pool shaking and scared and afraid. His parents were in the pool urging him, telling him, come on, jump, come on, jump. He stood at the edge of the pool shaking and scared, nervous and afraid. He stood there not knowing what he was going to experience, not sure that his parents would help him when he got in the water. He stood there shaking and nervous and scared. Finally, he bends his knees, leaps off the edge of the pool into the water. He celebrates. His parents celebrate. He realized, one, that he could do it, but then he realized, two, his parents would be there for him. Well, you know what happened. He kept jumping off the edge of the pool all day, y'all. He did it again and again and again and again. Beloved, can I just tell you, God expects us to be like that when it comes to trusting him. If you would let go of your fear and jump in, God will have your back every time. If you let go of your fear and jump in, some of y'all can testify that you are where you are today, not because you stood on the edge shaking and scared, but you leaped off the edge and you knew that God was going to catch you. Can I get some folk to give him glory right there? Somebody say yes. Many people, somebody say many people come to the edge knowing that they want to go to the next level. Come to the edge wanting more fulfillment in life. Come to the edge wanting more peace in life. But because of fear, they choose to live their life on the edge, never jumping in the water. For many people, your epitaph will read on your headstone, stood on the edge and never jumped in. Somebody say yes. Just so you can know, God never intended for us to live in fear. Somebody say yes. Y'all gonna miss a good sermon in here. Hear me again. God never intended for you to live in fear. No, he never placed in us the spirit of fear. From Adam down through Paul, God never placed in us the spirit of fear. The book over and over again is peppered with these words. Y'all ready? Somebody say, I'm ready. The Bible is peppered with these words. Y'all ready? Say ready. The Bible is peppered with these words. Say ready. Say ready. 2 words, and I'm telling y'all, these are the coldest words in the book, in the whole Bible. Here it is. Y'all ready? Say ready. Fear not. God tells Abraham as he makes his way to a land that he never saw before, fear not. God tells Jacob in the midst of his transformation, fear not. God tells Moses when he calls him to be a liberator, fear not. God whispers in the ear of Esther when she's on her way to see the king, y'all gonna preach me in here. God tells Joshua and over again in every battle that he faces, what? God tells David from the pasture to the palace, what? Can I give it to you? Somebody say, give it to me. The words fear not and don't be afraid appear 365 times in the Bible. Y'all just missed it because y'all ain't had breakfast this morning. It appears 365 times. That means you can wake up every day of the year and declare to yourself, fear not. When you go to work, fear not. When you got to deal with a boss, fear not. Is there anybody in here that can give God glory and shout, fear not? What would your life look like if on Tuesday you woke up and said to yourself, on Wednesday you woke up, on Thursday you woke up, on Friday you woke up, on Saturday you woke up? You ain't gonna be scared of nobody if you wake up with that mentality, because you're saying to yourself, God is on my side, and if God is on my side, I can make it through anything. Is there anybody that can give him glory with your hands, right? Watch this. Y'all gonna miss a good sermon in here, because if I can say fear not, you know why I can say it? You know why you can say it? Because if you've been created by God, destined by God, covered by God, loved by God, gifted by God, provided for by God, you have permission to tell yourself, fear not. Doesn't matter what things look like. Doesn't matter what is taking place already. You have permission from God to talk to yourself and tell yourself, I ain't got no reason to be scared. Touch your neighbor. Say, you ain't got no reason to be scared. Now let me be honest. Let's be honest. Fear is a natural emotion. All of us have times where fear is a constant, ever-present feeling as a result of situations and circumstances. Let me just do a little work here as the pastor of this church. How many of you have a fear? Raise your. Rest of y'all lying and going to hell. Amen. How many of y'all have a fear? How many? Darling, I have a fear of roller coasters. Forget y'all. I don't care nothing about y'all. Y'all must be great. I have a fear. I thank God that Chandler and Cortland never asked to go to the amusement park, because they was going to see their father be a punk like never before. I have a fear. I never like roller coasters. My life. We was little, I was at the snack bar. I wasn't in no roller coaster. Y'all, hey, give me a snack. I wasn't gonna be on no doggone roller coaster. Now here's the deep point. My fear of roller coasters is not because of a bad experience. Y'all gonna miss a shout. It's because when I see it, I make what I'm going to feel like larger than what it is. So I enlarge my fear. We have a tendency to superimpose something, not knowing that its bark is worse than its bite. So many of us never do things because we're afraid of what we perceive is going to be, not what is really. That's why you can never think there is nothing on earth that's bigger than God. If you got God on your side, it doesn't matter what you got to face. God is bigger than that. Is there anybody that could jump up right now? Because God is bigger. Watch this. Watch this. I'm trying to help y'all. If you only live life on what you see, you're never going to use faith. Faith doesn't operate like that, beloved. Faith puts its focus on what it believes, not what it sees. That's why fear and faith can't occupy the same space, because one acts only as a result of what it sees. The other, y'all put on your brains, come on y'all. The other, faith, acts regardless of what it sees. Don't miss what I said. Fear says this happened. Now I'm worried, I'm doubting, I'm not confident, I stopped dreaming, I ain't got no vision, I can't draw the blueprints up, all because of what happened. Faith says, regardless of what happened, I know God is going to make a way. I know God is going to open a door. I know God is going to provide. Now I got a question for y'all. How many of y'all can testify that regardless of what things look like, you can trust that God is going to make a way? That God, y'all going to make me preach in here? How many of y'all ever had to lean on God when all hell break loose? When things weren't going how they should go, but God opened a door for you, then somebody jump up and give him glory right now. Slap your neighbor and say, he will make a way. He will make a way. Hear me. Here it is. Here it is. Here's a tweetable moment, an Instagram moment, a Facebook moment. Are y'all ready? Say ready. Y'all gonna miss it because y'all didn't come to hear a sermon. Say ready. Here's a tweetable moment, Facebook moment, Instagram moment, Snapchat moment. You ready? Everything you've ever wanted is sitting on the other side of fear. If you get past your fear, God will do some stuff for you that he never did for nobody in your family. But you got to get past fear. Watch this. That's the encouragement Paul gives young Timothy. Timothy was given a major assignment in ministry. He was young with little experience, and Paul knew that young Timothy had doubts and fears, just like you and me. It is to be expected he would have feelings of inadequacy, feelings of unworthiness, feelings of not being qualified. Paul sets out to write young Timothy a letter of encouragement. Timothy was probably content serving alongside Paul, but Paul saw him as one who possessed great gifts, and he needed to step out further. Paul knew one of the tricks of fear will make you get comfortable and content. Y'all ain't gonna help me preach in here, because that's a trick of the enemy. In order to keep you from doing all that God has called you to do, he will scare you into moving. And so now you get content and comfortable, knowing that in places of comfort you don't grow. Somebody say something to me in here. So then he tells Timothy, he said, young Timothy, you can't stay here with me. You got to go expand yourself. Fear will make you sit down and do nothing and never use what God has blessed you with. Fear will make you deny yourself opportunities, deny yourself happiness, deny yourself fulfillment. Paul knew this could happen to Timothy, so he sends him to Ephesus and to use his gifts. He knows Timothy has doubts and fears, and it's this short part of this letter that we find encouragement. Here's the first part, y'all. Paul takes pen to paper, and he starts writing. He said, when I call to remembrance the genuine faith that's in you, which first dwelt in your grandmama and dwelt in your mama, I am persuaded that what was in your mama and in your grandmama, y'all gonna miss a shout in here, it's also in you. In other words, Timothy, don't be afraid you don't come from fearful folk. It is not in you to be afraid, because I know your mama and your grandmama. Beloved, can I bless 30 of y'all in here? One thing you ought to know is that we don't come from fearful folk. We don't come from folk who are afraid of challenge, who are afraid of obstacles, who are afraid of difficulties. That ain't even in our blood, y'all. Our history is filled with men and women who, in the face of opposition, refuse to be afraid and instead have trusted God. Can I find 30 people in here that come from strong folk, come from intelligent folk, come from brilliant folk, come from gifted folk, come from courageous folk, come from anointed folk? Can I find 50 people in here? Somebody slap, that's where I come from. You don't survive 246 years of slavery being afraid. You don't survive 100 years of legal segregation being afraid. You don't survive black codes and lynchings and convict leasing being afraid. You think this orange man in this office is scaring us? You better think twice. Beloved, we come from some folk that have to stood up against the KKK. You ought to give God glory because you come from some strong. Can I find 50 people that can give your grandmama praise and your big mama praise and your auntie praise? I wish y'all would stand up in here and give praise to them strong folk. That, can I get some more folk to stand up? Folk that prayed for you. Folk that gave you money to make it a little further. Slap somebody and say, that's where I come from. That's where I come from. I don't come from no weak folk. I don't come from no folk that back down to people. I don't come from folk that give up and quit. We got a new generation now. The first obstacle they meet, they want to give up and give in and quit. You better wake up and realize sometimes life ain't gonna be fair. You better snap your head up, throw your shoulders back, trust the God you serve, and watch God work on your behalf. Can I find 50 folk in here that's ever had to watch God work? Slap somebody and say, that's where I come from. Listen, my grandmother, I said this to 8:30, Kamora Coleman, my father's mother, I thought she was the sweetest lady on the face of the earth. Sweet as pie, nice as candy, until somebody tried to break in her house. She went behind her headboard, and all me and my sister heard was, ch-ch. Y'all don't even know that sound. Y'all ain't from the hood. Ch-ch. She got that shotgun ready. Help me, somebody. Because at the end of the day, she was saying, you ain't going to take what I worked for. You ain't going to take what I slaved for. You ain't going to take what I'm... Can I find 50 people in here that's come from the strong folk in here? Yeah. Paul tells young Timothy, boy, don't be afraid. I know your mama. I know your grandmama. You don't come from scared folk. Then he tells young Timothy, he said, therefore, I remind you, stir up the gift that's in you through the laying on of my hands. Paul tells young Timothy, hey, boy, don't be afraid. God help me in here, because you've been gifted by God. Can I help 50 of y'all in here? You have stood beneath and behind long enough. You have played second fiddle long enough. You've been in the background long enough. You've been discouraged by your family long enough. You've been told you never make it long enough. You've been told you never come out long enough. I came to tell you that you've been gifted by God, and it doesn't matter what nobody says. You've been given a gift. If I had 50 people, if you receive that, jump up right now. Watch this. Watch it. 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 Pastor Mike said this a few weeks ago at the marriage conference. A young man asked him, he said, I'm working these jobs. I got my own business. I'm trying to make it happen. He said, man, I just don't feel like I can get ahead. He said, I'm just struggling to press forward. Pastor Mike looks at the young man. He said, do you know the difference between you and Jesus? I'm about to run out this building. Man looked at him and said, what? Do you know the difference between you and Jesus? The young man looks at him and said, no, I don't know. Pastor Mike looks at him and said, Jesus believed who he said he was. If you just believe what you say you are, there is nothing that you cannot do. If you've been gifted by God, then you ought to walk like you've been gifted. You ought to talk like you've been gifted. You ought to act. Is there anybody in here? Here's the problem. But here's the problem. Somebody say, here's the problem. When you let other people and fear dictate your life, you let your fire go down. Can I be honest with you? Where is your passion at? What is your drive? What is your why when you get up in the morning? What makes you get out of bed to go try it again? For many of us, we let the fire go down. And now fear sits on your bedside with you and says to you, hold on, Derek, just let the fire go out. You know you can never be that. You can never have that. Fear comes and sits on the side of your bed and tells you, ain't nobody in your family ever done that. Why don't you just give up? You don't have the right education. You don't have nothing. And all fear says is, blow the fire out. Give up. Quit. Become average, routine, just like everybody else. Scratching for a blessing. Temporary layoffs. Good times. Easy credit ripoffs. Good times. Scratching. Y'all know the song. Good times. Can I be honest with y'all? Ain't nothing good about that. And so now the fire goes out. But here is grace. Somebody say, here is grace. Hold on, Derek. Don't play nothing. I said it almost goes out. It's a stir up the gift. Just when you're about to quit, Coach P, God leans in. Whew. 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 God blows on that flicker. That's called grace. I know they want to give up. Whew. I know they want to quit. Whew. I know they want to give up. Whew. Because watch this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cause that flame to go a little bit higher so you can see it. And all Paul tells Timothy is when you see the flame, stir up the gift. I want you to set ablaze that passion I put in you. Pastor Coleman, how do I set the fire ablaze? Well, you need to change the stories that you've been telling yourself. You need to start saying to yourself, I am blessed. I am favored. I am unique. I am brilliant. I am creative. I am anointed. If I had 5 people, we'd have ran out the building right there. How many of y'all know you're blessed? How many of y'all know you're favored? How many of y'all know you're anointed? Then stand up and give them glory. You're gifted. you're graced, you're intelligent, you're diligent. Somebody stand up and give him glory. You've been favored by God. You're the head and not the tail. You're above and not beneath. You're a lender, not a borrower. Slap somebody and say, that's who you are. Give him glory if that's how you see yourself. I don't care how the job sees you. I don't care how your family sees you. If you're blessed, somebody throw your hands up and shout, I'm blessed. So now, here it is. Y'all ready? Don't fear because you don't come from fearful folk. Somebody shout, I don't come from fearful folk. I'm done. Say, I don't come from fearful folk. How many of y'all had a tough mama, a tough daddy, a tough... Well, Jesus. Somebody shout, I don't come from fearful folk. Not only that, I don't have reason to fear because I've been gifted by God. Yeah, somebody shout, I'm gifted. Last point, I'm out of here. May the Lord bless you real good. You ought not fear. I don't know how y'all going to take this, but it's just because Paul tells Timothy, the main reason you ought not fear, it's in the book, because God has not given you a spirit of fear. God did not give you fearfulness, cowardice, or timidity. Watch this. So that we cower and let our flame die when confronted with the prospects of trials and tribulations. In other words, what God was giving things to us to be his witnesses, nowhere at no time did God give you fear. Don't let fear get in the way of you using your gifts. Don't let fear get in the way of you achieving your goals. Don't let fear keep you from experiencing fulfillment in life. Don't let fear stop you from fulfilling your dreams. Don't let fear hold you back from accomplishing things in your life. Fear does not come from God. Y'all say that with me. Fear does not come from God. Say it again. Say fear does not come from God. Oh, there'll be moments when grill will grip you, but when faith shows up, faith will pull the grip of fear off of you. And hear me, y'all. Y'all got to believe it. God does not give us fear. 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 Watch this. God does not give us fear. Y'all gonna miss it. God, they don't believe Coleman. All right, that's all right. That's all right. I got somebody else y'all might believe. Y'all don't believe Coleman? Come here, David. Talk to me about fear. David, as you walk towards Goliath, who's bigger than you, more experienced than you, got better weapons than you. David, what you got to say about this thing called fear? Little David throws his shoulders back, he throws his chest out, and he said, this is what I got to tell Fifth Street. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Watch this. And thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy. Oh, wait a minute, Darlene. They don't like David. So now they ain't believe Coleman. They ain't believe David. Well, I got some more folk for you. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The furnace is hot. You know y'all gonna die. You know you gonna burn. You know you gonna burn up if you don't bow down. What y'all got to say? The three boys throw their shoulders back, hold their heads up, and they declare, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us. And if he doesn't deliver, he's still able to deliver us. Is there anybody that can believe that testimony? Wait a minute. They a little shaky. They shaky on me. They shaky on David. They shaky on the three little boys. Let me see if I can get y'all on this one. There is another person who can talk to us about fear. He came down through 40 and 2 generations. Jesus, they tried to kill you. They tried to crucify you. They want to hang you on the cross. Can you talk to my folk about fear? Jesus lifts his head. He throws his shoulders back. He said, no man taketh my life, but I gladly lay it down. And 3 days from now, I'm going to pick it back up again. What you trying to say, Coleman? If you can make it to the other side of fear, there's joy on the other side. There's peace on the other side. There's power on the other side. There's fulfillment on the other side. Can I get 30 people in here that can jump up right now because you're ready to go to the other side? There's grace on the other side. There's favor on the other side. Let the redeemed of the Lord give God glory. Give him praise right now, everybody in the building. Touch somebody and say, get to the other side. Get to the other. Keep standing. Rest on your feet all over the building. Hear me. Somebody say, get to the other side. Hear me. Don't just tell a story you woulda, shoulda, coulda, but you were afraid. Somebody say, step out. Come on, say, step out. Look, jump off the ledge and see if God won't catch you in the water. Take a risk. Step out. Do something you ain't never done before. Try something you ain't never tried before. Hear me. Hear me. You don't want folk to say, she would have been a good writer. She always talked about opening her own business. And the only thing that grips you is fear. What are you afraid of? Here it is. If God be for us, who can be against us? If you got God on your side, God has to work it out. You step out, see what it's going to be. Somebody say, Pastor Coleman, what if I fail? Good. I'd rather fail trying than to never try at all. If it don't work, so what? Get up, dust yourself off, try one more time. Okay, it didn't work. Okay, good. All right. And now I know not to do that. Try again. Let me help y'all. Everybody in this building, hear me. Some of you all are so gifted that it will blow your mind. Don't give all of your gift putting somebody else's child through college. Don't give somebody else your gift. Your gift belongs to you. Don't invest in somebody else more than you invest in yourself. Some of us, this is just real talk, struggle with self-identity and image. And we want other people to affirm us and make us feel worthy. You're worthy without them. Can I preach to 6 people in here? You're worthy without them. God birthed you to be a genius. He birthed you to be intelligent. He birthed you to be creative. Let me tell y'all something. I watch poor folk take nothing and feed multitudes. Tell me what some cornmeal, some milk and butter can't do. If I had 5 people in the house, you know, rest of these people don't know nothing about what I'm talking about. For those of you who are not familiar with that, that's all that we had back in the day. There was no such thing as Jiffy. Somebody say amen. I got to interpret for these people, Don. Jesus, right? Right? I watch people take nothing and create something. Don't tell me that we can't do it. We come from them. So stop having these conversations in your head about what you can't do, what you're incapable of doing. I ain't got enough money. God got enough money. You be genius. You be great. You be creative. Don't limit with yourself within the confines of somebody else's definition of you. Paul tell Timothy, boy, stop being scared. And if you read the first part, the reason he wrote the letter is because Timothy was crying. Stop all that crying. Stop all that crying, boy. You got stuff in you that can change the world. Get out of that fear. If God calls you to relocate, you're going to have moments you're going to be scared. I got it. But if God sent you there, God going to keep you there. Somebody give him praise. Don't worry about that. God is preparing to put you in rooms that your feet have yet entered into. Y'all ain't. God is preparing rooms for you. Somebody better get that right there. I said he's preparing rooms for you that your feet have yet to enter. And you can't walk in that room scared, talking about good to see y'all, just glad to be. You better walk in there acting like God put you in there. You meant to be there. You meant to be here. I'm meant to be here, man. I don't serve a scary God. He purposed me to be in this place. Some of y'all getting ready to embark upon something, and it seems like you're afraid, and it seems larger than life. I got it. You're going to get a little fear. I got it. But don't let that fear grip you to inactivity. Step out and see what God won't do for you. Did anybody getting this in here? Raise your hand. Don't live in fear. Don't walk in fear. Don't talk in fear. Don't eat fear. Don't sleep with fear. Don't do none of it. Be bold in your faith. Stand on the word of God. And when you go in the unknown place, it's unknown to you, but it ain't unknown to God. Can I say it? God been there before. And if God has been there before, you calm yourself down and let God work that thing out. Are y'all getting this? Is anybody? That's it. That's it. Get to the other side of fear, y'all. Don't stay on this side. Go to the other side. Experience the fulfillment of what God has for your life. I'm done. Allow your whispers to yourself be words of encouragement for your soul. Because let me tell you what bad whispers do. Don't allow the bad whispers dictate your life. Allow God to speak to you and tell you you're great, tell you you're awesome, tell you you're faithful. And God will do some amazing things in your life. Somebody give him praise right there. Did y'all get that? Can you do something? Just hug somebody and tell them, get to the other side of fear. Rest on your feet. I hope somebody got that. Stand on your feet, y'all. Come on. Those of the church are open. Let me. Hold on, Derek. Don't play that yet. If you're here. Yeah, that's it. If you're here and you don't have a church home, I want you to come right now. My brother, my sister, every head bow. Come on. Come on. We're doing this now. Come on. If you're here.